Is Silent Hill F a Souls-like? You may think it's an easy answer, but apparently, according to some people on the internet, it's not really. Silent Hill F is an upcoming psychological horror, or as some are thinking it might be a survival horror game that is being published by Konami. Silent Hill is mostly a series that is based on vibes such as rust, sadness, puzzles, and some really weird circumcision conspiracies. And the Silent Hill series was pretty well received up until games such as Downpour and Homecoming. After that, the series kind of took a pretty long break, probably due to not critical acclaim and also Konami completely abandoning the gaming industry, with the only Silent Hill thing we seen was PT with Hideo Kojima behind it, and then it disappeared. Maybe because of that, and maybe because Konami decided to completely abandon the gaming industry for like a decade, and Konami really didn't rejoin the gaming scene until they announced Silent Hill 2 remake was a thing. I played that game last year, and I thought it did a really good job of improving things upon the original that needed improved, such as the combat, which was really lackluster, considering it was a pretty early PS2 game. And in my opinion, it kept a lot of the original elements that it needed to, so that the game was still good and still weird and sad in vibes. And I think the combat in the remake doesn't take it to action hero lengths like Resident Evil did with like Resident Evil 4 or 5. I don't think it got that crazy, but it certainly was way more involved than the original game was. And some people had some different takes on whether they enjoyed that or didn't enjoy it as much. Personally, for me, I think it made the game a more full experience. And seemingly with new footage of Silent Hill F, combat seems to be even more prevalent than it was in Silent Hill 2 Remake. I still think some of the core vibes are there, explicitly vibes and sadness, especially if you read anything on their site. But there is dodging, there is attacking, and there are occasional boss fights. But does this make it a Souls-like? A Souls-like definitely has all of those, but so do a lot of other games. I remember when people were using the term Souls-like to describe the gameplay in games such as God of War and South of Midnight, which is crazy because those are definitely not Souls-likes, and obviously not everyone is saying that. This isn't like an extremely common opinion, but it is definitely something that I've seen when it comes to games that have combat, that have dodging, when they see gameplay footage before the games come out. And when I see comments like these or replies like these, it always reminds me of the joke where it's like, dude who just saw Paddington 2 is watching another movie and he's like, I really see some Paddington 2 vibes in this. And I think when you're describing a game and trying to figure out its genre, and you're using a genre term such as Souls-like, which is very specific, it should probably involve more things than just combat. There's usually a specific vibe Souls games tend to have, whether it's Dark Souls or Lords of the Fallen or Lies of P, but even more than just the general aesthetic, because that can be broken with other games such as Another Crab's Treasure, which is very different looking. Souls-like games tend to have a pretty specific gameplay loop when it comes outside of the immediate combat, and also a pretty similar visual presentation. And just hitting and dodging and boss fights I don't think qualifies Silent Hill F to be one. Now, other than the Souls-like discussion, which I've seen, because I think I want to move a little bit more towards the concerns I've seen for Silent Hill F, and this isn't necessarily supposed to quell your concerns, this is just going to be my thoughts on it. I do think the game is going to be different. How much? At least a little, considering that this is the first time in the series where they are representing Japanese culture and starring Japanese characters. It's not in the exact Silent Hill location that it usually takes place in, like it's not in Maine, but I believe the name of the place is like a slight reference to such in this game, however. But overall, I do expect the vibes to be pretty similar. Me personally, I think I'm still excited for the game as long as they don't jump the shark with the combat and forget about the other elements such as puzzles, sadness. My opinion isn't the end-all be-all though. Out of this series, I've only personally played 2 games, and they're technically the same game because I played the original 2 and I played the remake 2 just about a year apart. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people who are going into F excited or in the same boat as I am, where they don't really have that much gameplay experience with the other Silent Hill games other than 2. I also have some offhand knowledge about the series, you know, the remark in the beginning. But But I do understand the worries about the comment, and I do believe that those feelings are valid, that you can be worried about something changing too much and for the worse. If that it gets too bad, the feel and the idea of the series can be lost. And I'm not going to tell you that Konami can't fuck this up. It's very possible. Konami has made some pretty awful decisions in the past. It's just personally, after Silent Hill 2 Remake, I'm excited to see where this game goes and how it plays, and I'm hoping that it'll be good, but there's never a guarantee. The one thing that I will say very confidently, though, is that Silent Hill F is not a Souls-like. But what are your thoughts? I've seen a number of takes online, some of them crazy, some of them are okay. I mean, one like it being a bit fantastical for a Japanese schoolgirl to be fighting monsters. I think that makes sense, but I kind of look at Silent Hill as more fantastical already because of just the design of everything. Other ones being like, is it a Silent Hill game if it does not take place in Maine? And also that the combat now has hit stop. Either way, I'm avoiding any and all new information about the game from here on out until it releases. I really don't want to spoil my cell phone story. I think the best way to go into most games is blind and just be careful about reviews that come in beforehand and hoping that the optimization is good. But in 2025, that seems like a hard thing to ask for considering every major company has optimization issues. Give the devs more time and money to work on the game. So that's about it for this video. It was just a quick thoughts video. I hope you enjoyed it. What are your thoughts? Let me know down below, and I hope to see you next time. See ya.